this interview with Emily Lane from MP Guide and Derek Harpole from MP Social. Today we'll be discussing Derek's new social media app specifically designed for nurse practitioners. Derek is a nurse practitioner entrepreneur who has created a unique platform that caters to the needs of nurse practitioners, allowing them to connect, collaborate, and share knowledge. In this interview, we will explore Derek's inspiration behind the app, its features, impact, and future plans. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, Derek, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background in healthcare?
Yeah, so I graduated from nursing school back in 2012. I worked in the emergency room for about 8 years, did travel nursing off and on, transitioned a little bit into the cath lab, did that for a while, finally went back and got my nurse practitioner while I was doing that. And then first job was in the emergency room again as a nurse practitioner up in Oregon. And then I was there for about a year, came back to Texas where I'm at now, was in urgent care for about a year, and now opened up our own primary care clinic just about 8 months ago. So that's kind of the last 11 years in a nutshell. So just emergency room, primary care, and urgent care.
Yeah. All right. That's a really good background, a lot of variety. So what inspired you to create a social media app specifically for nurse practitioners?
Well, I always was on all the Facebook groups. And I really felt like there was a lot of limitations with some of those and kind of sharing. And plus there's obviously there's about 1,000 groups on Facebook. So you got to be in the right one to get the right information, which I guess sometimes is a good thing because then you kind of get more specific stuff to what you're looking for. But also with that, I realized that there's a lot of limitations to what those groups can actually do. So I made an app. It's basically social media for nurse practitioners. The way I kind of explain it, it's sort of like a Facebook group mixed with like a LinkedIn professional account. I do want it to be a professional site, but also, nurses have their own sense of humor. So plenty of just memes and just find anywhere, but basically just a platform that nurses can go for anything, whether it's entertainment, education, stuff to help with their licensing. I want to have different nursing organizations on there, have conference schedules and things like that. So that was kind of the inspiration, is almost just to make it like a one-stop shop for everything nurse practitioner, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And I think one of the downfalls to the Facebook groups is some of them just aren't very strongly moderated. And so you get tons of spam and tons of stuff that's not exactly relevant to being a nurse practitioner. And I think the way that we have talked about your app in the past really kind of prevents some of that. Can you tell us how that kind of gets prevented?
Yeah, so every account is verified by a human, which is me right now. So hopefully in the future, if there's more and more people signing up, I'll need some help with that. But basically, every user has to put in their email address. First of all, their email is verified first to make sure there's no spam email bots coming through. Mm-hmm. And then after that, we send you to the actual registration page where you actually will put in your NPI, your date of birth, and city, state, location where you're practicing. But that way each person, then that account, once I get that information, NPI, I cross-reference that with your name, and we just make sure that, there's no robots getting in, no spam bots, and no people who are just random people trying to sign up to a group for no reason. And then if there's any issue, logging in or with us verifying that, we can always reach out. For example, some people that have signed up in the past have put their license number rather than their NPI. So I don't automatically just reject it. I reach out to that email and say, hey, unfortunately, I'm not able to verify you with that. Is there any more? Can you give me your registration for your national certification or your state license, whatever, and just get more information. So that way we make sure that each and every person that's actually on the app is a nurse practitioner only. So that's one big thing that we do.
Yeah. So what are some of the unique features that you may offer inside of this app? I know that I've looked at it myself, and there's a social media feed that you can kind of go through and see everybody posting, see case studies that have been posted, questions and answers and things like that. But what are some other features that you either have already integrated or are planning in the future?
Yeah. So as of right now, just to be upfront, it's very basic right now. It's what we call phase one, basically the minimum product just to get it out there so people can start actually using it and test out the features. So right now it's a basic social media platform that really doesn't have a ton of extra value for nurse practitioners the way it currently is. But I do have the team, and disclosure, I'm not a tech guy. So I have a team that develops the app in New York. But either way, I've got a list of, I'm looking at 18 different things right here that we're adding. A couple of the big things that we're excited about is, again, the ability to make groups within the platform, so that way, if you're into cardiology, there's a cardiology group or whatever. But each person who, well, obviously each NP that wants to create their group will kind of have their own niche that they want to target. Also want to have a job posting site, so that way, nurse practitioner jobs can be found on there. And one big thing that I'm excited about is having a sort of referral section. It won't be HIPAA compliant, so it's not like referring direct patients to each other.
Mhm.
But so, for example, I'm in primary care. I do offer IV infusion here and weight loss, but say I don't, and I have a patient that I want to have an IV infusion. Well, I could just send them to some random place down the street, or I could get on the app and look and see, is there actually a nurse practitioner in the area that has an IV infusion place? And I would be happier sending them to them rather than just some random person that opened up an IV infusion clinic. So basically the idea is nurse practitioners helping each other. Same thing for cardiology. I know it sounds small, but as a nurse practitioner in family practice, I would love to refer a patient to a cardiology nurse practitioner rather than to a cardiologist. I think it helps our profession that we can make those decisions. And again, if that person, maybe the cardiology NP, just has their fax number and their practice location on the app, and then I, as the provider, can send that my referral the traditional way through fax or whatever. So those are big things. And then, we're always thinking of different ideas. Another thing, I know a lot of people nowadays have 10 to 40, 50 nursing licenses, and keeping up with all of those is a challenge. So another thing we'd like to implement is like a license renewal reminders, basically. So you just go in and you'll put, what state and when it's going to expire, and then we can set up the app to give you a 90-day notice, a 60-day notice, 30-day notice. Hey, your license is going to expire. And then once you upload that information again, it kind of resets and does it all again in another year or two.
And
I know
I'm
that's
super
a big
excited
deal
for that feature personally, because
Yeah.
as someone who does have several licenses and has allowed one of them to lapse at one point in her career, I am very excited about that, to prevent me from driving 3 hours to our state capitol and submitting paperwork in person. So I liked
Yeah.
that feature when you talked about that. That's a really good
Yeah, I think it's something that's pretty
something that you're not
simple.
good with.
Yeah, right. And it's something simple, but yet there are some states, it expires the month of your birth. And in some, it's like when you actually get the license. So it's a lot to keep up with, especially now that there's more and more nurse practitioners doing telehealth stuff, that they do have multiple licenses. And we'll have a spot too for like your DEA license or whatever. Any license, anything that's going to come on a renewal basis, you could even put your insurance.
My DOT license.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to check in and log into NRCME website every month, or else it goes inactive.
Yeah.
I mean, little things like that.
Yeah, exactly. So anything like that we can help with. Yeah, I mean, and obviously then it's a simple social networking. So basically you can message each other, share posts with each other, share case studies, sharing articles. Like I said, there's all kinds of stuff. Oh, I want to have a marketplace as well. So that way,
Ooh, that's good. I haven't heard about that
you
Books and
upgraded your
equipment.
otoscope and you have another one you want to sell, then by all means, anything basically that nurse practitioners can do or can want will be on the app. That's my goal.
Yes. Well, I love all the things that you're doing. So how can interested nurse practitioners download and start using your app?
So right now we're on Apple and Google Android systems, and we're simply in there as NP Social, so Nurse Practitioner Social, but it's NP. And you can find it on the App Store or the Google Play Store. Just a simple download, and of course it's free for users. There's no charge for any nurse practitioner. And I did want to mention too, I know that you have a lot of students that follow your channel and everything. Yes. If you are a student and you're interested in the app, and I think you should be, but I want to set up a way, because again, everything's monitored by me right now. So if you're a student and you want to sign up, you can go ahead and sign up, but where it says NPI, just type in student. And then what I'll do is I'll reach out to those people individually and get the credentials from each student, kind of figure out when they're going to potentially transition to full nurse practitioner. But I do want to confirm that people are actually in school, not just like thinking about NP school. Right. Like I want to have a way that they can verify that through their college or online program, whatever. So, but yeah, that's kind of it in a nutshell. But NP Social, you can find us on any of the major platforms. And like I said, we're only an app. We have a website. It's called thenpsocial.com. There's nothing there. It's it's just a channel to get to the app. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So. All right. Well, we'll link all of your socials in the comments section below. Awesome. And let us know if there's anything else that you guys want to see in this app in the future. We'd love to see that in the comment section as well.
Sure.
Look forward to seeing you on NP Social.
All right. Awesome. Thank you guys so much.